India Upfront, we focus on the biggest story of the day. And what a big story it is turning out to be. Watch these pictures, viewers. Watch these pictures closely. This is Mamata Banerjee's minister and party colleague Partha Chatterjee. The moment he realized he was being arrested by the Enforcement Directorate for alleged corruption, he wheeled himself into hospital complaining of chest pains. He's even strategically placed his hand on his chest, posing for the cameras. There you can see him, clutching at his chest. After a checkup, he was discharged. The director of AIIMS, Bhubaneswar, said that Chatterjee was fit and required no hospitalization. He was fit, he only had some history of some problems earlier, but none of them were at this moment active. Listen to the doctor yourself. Listen to what he said.
So we investigated and we have submitted the report to the Honorable High Court.
So is there any chest pain?
So there was not much of chest pain.
Okay.
So everything which is off, he will be discharged today.
Any kidney problem, sir?
Yeah.
Any kidney
He has stable condition and maybe whatever the things he is having due to the chronic illness that he is having. So nothing of in serious nature at this moment to intervene. Let us, we have. That is their diagnosis. I am not going to comment on that. So we have given, submitted. Yes. At this moment, we will be discharged.
Viewers, if Chatterjee was trying to pull the wool over the eyes of investigators to evade the consequences of his alleged misdemeanors, he has failed miserably. In fact, even his desperate bid to save his own skin by calling Mamata Banerjee many times during the course of a very long night, as it turned out, failed. She refused to take his calls. He tried her at 2:32 a.m. Then a minute later at 2:33 a.m. Then almost an hour later at 3:37 a.m. And finally, viewers, at 9:35 a.m. But Mamata Banerjee blocked him. Of course, it is too early to say whether he is guilty, but Mamata's act of evading Partha Chatterjee suggests there might be substance to the allegations. As of now, Mamata Banerjee has artfully distanced herself in public from one among her closest aides, Partha Chatterjee. Listen in.
আমি কোনো অন্যায়কে সাপোর্ট না করেও, ভুল বুঝবেন না, দুর্নীতিকে সাপোর্ট করা তো আমার জীবনের নেশাই নয়, পেশাও নয়। আজকে আমি সত্যিই দুঃখিত এবং মর্মাহত এবং শোকাহত কয়েকটি রাজনৈতিক দলের আচরণে। কিন্তু আমি চাই উইদিন দ্য টাইম ফ্রেম সত্যির বিচার হোক। সত্যিটা যদি কেউ দোষী প্রমাণিত হয়, তাকে যাবজ্জীবন কারাদণ্ড দিলেও I don't mind.
Now, viewers, in these annexures, the Enforcement Directorate has fleshed out its case, linking the money trail allegedly from Partha Chatterjee to one of his close associates, a woman called Arpita Mukherjee, who is a renowned artist. If the taint sticks, Partha Chatterjee, viewers, will join a raft of TMC MLAs who have been caught on camera allegedly taking money for favors. That was called the Narada scam. Some others have been accused of running Ponzi schemes. That was called the Narada scam. Or have been pulled up by Mamata herself for accepting cut money. She famously told some of her party colleagues, return the cut money for God's sakes. We all remember when TMC Narada accused, some of them you can see on your screens accepting the money. When they were summoned by the CBI, Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee did a massive dharna outside the agency's office. In other words, Mamta believed that Narada accused all of them were innocent. But then, when one of the Narada accused, Suvendu Adhikari in particular, switched over to the BJP, he became guilty. She said that the BJP has accepted taint into its fold. The TMC to this day says that the BJP has whitewashed Suvendu Adhikari, saying that they have dropped all the pretense of even inquiring on whether he is involved in the Narada scam, thereby clearly accepting the veracity of the charges. These previous instances, flip-flops, call them what you want to, knock the bottom out of the claims from the TMC, that is, leaders smell of roses. Viewers, if indeed this case is building up, and I just want to show you the shocking visuals. I want you to see these visuals of cash. I don't think any of us have seen this much money, sackfuls of money, stuffed in plain view. Crores and crores of money. If any of this belongs to Partha Chatterjee, this would be one of the biggest corruption scandals linked to one particular politician in a long time, viewers. I'm not saying it's not happened in the past, but certainly in a long time. And this warrants many, many questions. Let's ask some of these questions tonight. Let's open this up. Let's get in Biswajeet Dev, spokesperson of the TMC, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and commentator on all affairs. Let's bring them all into this debate. Let's have a honest and frank conversation without losing our patience with each other. Now, Mr. Dev, let me begin by asking you first, the three of you first. We have others, of course, on this panel, but I'll come to them in just a few moments. Partha Chatterjee is reputed to be among Mamta Banerjee's closest aides, the Bengal Chief Minister's closest aides. It defies logic that she should have blocked his desperate calls in his hour of greatest need, unless, of course, she is distancing herself from him. Mr. Dev, why then is Mamta Banerjee distancing herself from Partha Chatterjee when he needs her most, when he says that he was calling her because he felt that he was being persecuted? She didn't take his calls. Why?
Well, Mamta Banerjee had very clearly clarified the entire incident and had made a statement today in a particular function that if anybody is found guilty, let him be punished, but let him be found guilty first. And we would request, that is what he said, that is what she said, that let there be fast-track courts, let there be time-bound completion of the investigation. The investigation should not be dragged, just like it was dragged in the Sarada case, in the Narada case, in the chit fund cases, and used against the TMC just to malign the TMC party. Okay. That should not be repeated again. What should be done? You finish the case, you finish the investigation within a time-bound schedule, and take the matter to the fast-track court. Okay. If there is evidence, file charge sheet against him, and go for a trial. Okay. And if he is found guilty, we will not support him. Okay. We will take.
Now, Mr. Dev, I don't know if you have access to a television screen in front of you.
But the way.
No, I don't know if you have access to a television screen in front of you.
But the way. No.
But please look at the television screen. Can you see it there? It's in the corner. It's on your right-hand side corner.
Yes, I'm watching.
Now tell me.
I am watching.
What are these pictures? Now, Mr. Dev, you see these pictures? These are from May 17th, 2021. Almost a year ago, almost a little bit over a year ago, when Mamta Banerjee showed up like a lioness that she is. She is a lioness, as you know. She showed up outside the CBI office in Kolkata. Why? Because she was defending her MLAs, her MPs, her leaders. She hasn't done this with Partha Chatterjee. She has in fact blocked him. Why hasn't she then sacked him?
It was not a question. It was not a question. It was not a question of defending. It was a question of a protest against the central government, which was misusing the central agencies in a blatant manner.
Misusing. Viewers, you heard what he said.
Against the TMC.
You heard what he said. Yes. Misusing. Now, this is a very important term.
At that particular time.
Okay. Now, viewers, look, I'm not going to pretend here by suggesting that the BJP's... One minute. That the BJP's probes have significantly led to convictions. I'm not even going to pretend. It has happened in the past where the BJP has made a huge mountain out of a large amount of charges, but have not been able to follow up with convincing convictions, etc. We'll come to that a little later. But what did Mr. Deb say? Misuse.
Please misuse. Finish. I have not completed.
Now, one second. I'll just come back to you. I'll come back to you, sir. Just be patient. Give me 30 seconds. I'm not letting you off the hook. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. So just 30. I request your indulgence. You use the term misuse. Now, viewers, it's a very important term in the context of this debate, because who was Mamata Banerjee staging a 6-hour dharna for? She was doing so for the Narada accused. Who were some of the Narada accused? Suvendu Adhikari. Now, if she believes that the agencies were misusing their powers to entrap her colleagues, then why today does she say that the same Suvendu Adhikari who flipped and joined the BJP is guilty? That the BJP must prosecute him and put him behind bars. Mr. Deb, question to you.
Can I reply?
Yes.
I'll just reply. You see, in spite of the protest made by Mamata Banerjee, it was evidently clear that all the Trinamool Congress leaders, including the mayor of Calcutta, was taken into custody. Whether you agree to it or not, they were taken into custody, and the mayor and the minister, Mr. Subrata Mukherjee, late Mr. Subrata Mukherjee, was taken into custody when he was a cabinet minister.
Sure.
But at that time, why Suvendu Adhikari was not also taken into custody? That was the point raised by
double
Trinamool
standards.
Congress several times.
Okay, double standards they claim. TMC claims TMC claims double standards.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. If the TMC leaders could have been taken into custody, why not equal treatment?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you are claiming
discrimination.
That's what I'm saying, sir. That you are claiming double standards tonight.
What is discrimination? Why the discrimination?
I know, that's what you're saying. You're accusing the BJP-led...
Why the discrimination? That is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Why discrimination? Why the double standards? The TMC is asking today. But viewers, I want to ask one final question before I bring in Sanju Verma to respond and Dr. Ranganathan.
Today the situation is different.
Okay, this situation is different.
Today the situation is different.
Let me, sir, pipe down.
Today the situation is different.
Okay.
Because the woman, 10 seconds, because the woman from whom the cash was recovered does not belong to Trinamool. She has got no connection with Trinamool.
Okay.
And Trinamool has got no connection with that woman.
Okay.
And Trinamool has got no connection with the cash.
But sir, here in my hand, here in my hand is a document. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say this is the truth, but it is a document of the deeds dated August 2020 in the name of Enche Entertainment Private Limited. These documents seem to suggest that Mr. Partha Chatterjee, and these documents have been received from his person, residential premises, and recovered in the presence of two independent witnesses who put their dated signatures, a token of having seen them, with lots of links to this lady that you're talking about. So Partha Chatterjee is still a TMC member, so how can you say that TMC has no links with... Anyhow, I presume what you're saying is that these are all allegations and nothing has been proven.
I am saying she's not a member.
She's not a member.
Partha Chatterjee can have relation.
Okay.
Partha Chatterjee can have relation.
Right.
Partha Chatterjee can have relation.
With
not only one woman, with 10 women.
With 10 women.
That is his personal affair. We are not concerned about that.
Okay.
Trinamool is not concerned about that.
Okay. Well, clearly, sir, you are advocating that some of your MPs or MLAs or what have you should have multiple affairs, relationships, that's their private business. That just shows that in today's day and age, that kind of politically incorrect statement. Anyhow, let's not go down that route. The point is, viewers, this is evidence that has been collected from Partha Chatterjee's homes, allegedly, and it links him very clearly to this lady from where the money was also recovered. And you've seen the cash. I mean, I've never seen that kind of money in my life.
But the cash was not recovered from Partha Chatterjee.
No, it's not.
Cash
it's from
was
this
not
lady.
recovered from Partha Chatterjee.
Who Mr. Chatterjee
You are again, I'm sorry to say.
Okay.
I am sorry
I'm saying
to
it
say,
was recovered from the lady's home.
You are misleading the viewers. No. They recovered from the lady's home.
I said so.
And she has got no connection with Trinamool.
Sir, maybe...
And neither Trinamool has got any connection with her.
Okay, maybe, sir. Maybe because you're sitting...
We are, our Chief Minister,
right.
Our Honorable Chief Minister has repeatedly said, well, you expedite the investigation.
Right.
Fix up a fast court.
Okay.
Fast track court.
Okay.
Send him to trial if there is evidence. File a charge sheet. And if he is found guilty, we will throw him out.
Mr. Deb, you're sitting on a distant link. You're probably not hearing what I'm saying. I clearly mentioned that the money was recovered from her home. So maybe on a distant link, you're not getting what I'm saying clearly. I also said that you are alleging double standards. I didn't say that you are being accused by me of double standards. So hang on. So maybe there's some interference with the sound. But nonetheless, viewers, some response is coming. But viewers, the TMC cannot claim to be a party above the stench of corruption. We have seen some of their leaders accepting money on camera for alleged favors. Mamata Banerjee has admitted that there was a cut money scandal that was running rife, and asked some of her own cadre to return. That is a public record. So it's obviously a party not above corruption. Now, whether Partha Chatterjee is mixed up or not, that only time will tell. But I have some question, a direct question for the BJP. And it follows from what Mr. Deb has been saying. Madam, Sanju Verma, straight direct question. You accuse Suvendu Adhikari of corruption in the Narada scam, yet you took him into your own party as a chief ministerial face. You made him your party's LOP, leader of opposition in the House. Clearly, you are just grandstanding. It just so happens that there's an opposition politician who's close to Mamata Banerjee, so throw a lot of mud at him in the hope that some of it sticks and also taints, blots Mamata Banerjee and the TMC. That's the charge that is being made. That's a fact that I'm presenting to you. Sanju Verma, how do you respond to this?
Rahul, first and foremost, it's great to see you on India Upfront after more than 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Coming straight to your question, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I will answer your question, but I simply love this effort to draw a false equivalence between the BJP and the TMC. Today, who is the person in the dock? It is Partha Chatterjee. And before answering your question, since the earlier gentleman from TMC took a good 10 to 15 minutes, the charge that Partha Chatterjee and Archita Mukherjee, his close aide and confidant, are today in the custody of the ED thanks to political vendetta by the BJP is a whole lot of hogwash. And I'll tell you why in 10 seconds. It was in November 2021, Rahul, for the first time that a single bench led by Justice Abhijit Gangopadhyay clearly said that there is grave corruption in the SSC recruitment in West Bengal. He castigated the TMC government and said that the CBI should take over the probe. Then Partha Chatterjee, then TMC, and then Mamata Banerjee, with folded hands, said we do not believe a single bench judgment. We want to be heard by a division bench. And mind you, in May 2022, there was a division bench of the Calcutta High Court presided by Justice Harish Tandon. And he upheld what Justice Abhijit Gangopadhyay said, saying that there is massive corruption. The words that Justice Harish Tandon used while giving his judgment and castigating Mamata Banerjee were money laundering, conflict of interest, proceeds of crime, corruption in highest places in West Bengal, nullified intent, criminal conspiracy.
Okay.
You will be surprised to know, I will just conclude, you will be surprised to know, after Justice Harish Tandon also held Partha Chatterjee and the TMC government culpable of the SSC scam, where the destinies of young children, teachers are being compromised with.
Not TMC government. No, not TMC government. I have read the judgment.
This is not fair. Rahul, I did not interrupt his
Please do not misinterpret
Mr.
the
Dev,
judgment.
respond to her. I'll give you the opportunity.
Do not
Let's not
misinterpret
speak
the
over
judgment.
each other, please.
I did not
Please do
interrupt
not
this man even once.
You can
This is
respond
not
to her.
fair.
And that's why I brought you into the frame. You can respond to her
Yes.
clearly. Yes. Finish your point, Ms. Verma.
After Justice Abhijit Gangopadhyay of the Kolkata High Court, after Justice Harish Tandon of the Kolkata High Court, both said Partha Chatterjee, TMC and Mamata Banerjee are culpable. Then the Trinamool Congress had the shameless and brazen audacity to approach Justice Rajashekar Mantha of the Kolkata High Court in June 2022. 10 seconds, Rahul. And Justice Rajashekar Mantha also said that there has been an institutionalization of corruption in the education sector in West Bengal, both in the primary and secondary level. So please stop taking the moral high ground.
Okay.
The Kolkata
Quick
High
response.
Court has castigated you.
Quick response. The Calcutta High Court has castigated you, says Sanju Verma. Don't blame this and don't pin this on us and vindictiveness.
No.
Mr. Dev.
I have given you the
High
dates,
Court,
the
whatever
months
Calcutta
and
High
the
Court has said,
specific instances.
I have gone through the judgment. I have gone through the judgment of the single bench and the division bench also.
Okay.
And nowhere the Calcutta High Court has held the government responsible. A particular department may have been castigated, but that does not mean the entire government was not fingers were not raised by the Calcutta High Court on the entire state government. That's a misinterpretation of the judgment which was passed by the Calcutta High Court, both by the single bench and by the division bench. I'm sorry to say.
Okay, now 1 second. Okay, now let's not speak over each other, please. I'm stepping in and lowering everyone's faders.
You are also lying.
Okay, both lying. Okay, 1 minute. Both accusing each other of lying. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Let me bring in Tausif Ahmed. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. Now look, there is no doubt, Dr. Ranganathan, that the BJP and the TMC lower everyone's faders. Please, I don't want to have people speaking over each other, and I'm not going to raise my voice. Thank you, Nizam Bhai. Now, Dr. Ranganathan, we are no strangers to this Punch and Judy show, which takes place quite often between the BJP and the TMC. We know that they are at each other's throats, that this is really a battle to the finish between them. And therefore, they will pull out every card to try and annihilate each other politically. So let's first concede that in the backdrop. But how do you see what's happening here, Dr. Ranganathan? How do you see what's happening?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to all my esteemed panelists. I've been listening to very intently to this wonderful debate, and I hope to get courtesy of 2 minutes of uninterrupted time. And welcome back, Rahul. We missed you.
Thank you.
The two issues here, Rahul. This is one point that I especially would like to make as a professional belonging to the domain of science and medicine. I think it's a very sad day for the medical professionals of Bengal, and I say this apolitically. It had become almost routine for the court to order investigations in a case to happen outside a state because the court did not trust the state's investigative agencies, Gujarat, UP, Maharashtra, Bengal, Punjab. But this is the first time that the court has ordered a mere simple medical checkup to happen outside of a state. I mean, this is profoundly embarrassing and a new low. Number two, the only way now for Partha Chatterjee to escape prison is to join the BJP. Every CBI or ED raid carries, Rahul, the baggage of being politically motivated, even if it is not, because number one, the investigative agencies are not apolitical or independent. They remain parrots. And when you domesticate a parrot, it finds its favorite shoulder. And right now, the shoulder is of Modi. Two, years of trial and error have now resulted in an established recourse that those who are raided take. A, if the raided are businessmen, they simply start or buy out a media house, and every time they are raided, their media arm cries government vendetta. And B, if the raided are politicians, they simply join the BJP. From Goa to Manipur to Bengal to Karnataka, every single politician when in trouble has dipped himself into this Behti Ganga that is the BJP. Then miraculously, all leads go cold. All investigations come to a dead end. Remember Adhikari? Remember Mukul Roy and how the investigations on him went cold when he joined the BJP? And by the way, they have restarted after he has returned to the TMC. Remember when BJP's Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao had demanded an ED raid and had written to the Rajya Sabha Ethics Committee alleging involvement of TDP's YS Chowdhury in court, massive financial bungling and fraud of 5,700 crores and sought his disqualifications over court, a serious breach of ethics, unquote. Well, before the Rajya Sabha could act, Mr. Chowdhury promptly joined the BJP, forcing Mr. Rao to eat the humble pie. That the CBI, IT, ED agencies are the most potent weapon in a politician's hand is not conspiratorial cynicism, Rahul, but a statement based on precedents. Remember, it was the BJP that staged a nationwide protest in May 2010, crying that the UPA was using the CBI to blackmail opposition leaders to toe the line on budget proposals. In September 2013, Mr. Jaitley complained to PM Manmohan Singh that the CBI was being used to frame Modi and Shah. Remember in 2008, when the left withdrew its support to the UPA, the CBI withdrew its case against Mulayam Singh, who then supported the UPA. And a year later, they promptly readmitted the case. Enter NDA, and the parrot remained a parrot, just that the shoulders changed. Rahul, just 10 seconds. The incontrovertible fact, Rahul, is that in this country, you can fool all of the people all of the time.
Well,
Rahul,
I need to come in. 1 second. Ms. Verma, I must ask you this question. You accused Suvendu Adhikari of corruption in the Narada scam, yet you took him into your party. I asked you this question. As the Chief Minister faced, you made him your party's LOP. Today he stands in the House asking questions in an LOP, right? In 2019 Lok Sabha polls, the BJP fielded many scam-tainted accused, including Bhanu Pratap Shahi, named in a 130 crore medicine scam. The question is why? Mukul Roy accused in Narada, but BJP welcomed him into its party. Now he's back in the TMC, and the raids and whatever else you want to call them have begun again. The case is revived. So, Sanju Verma, again let me ask you, what's the outrage all about? If he flips tomorrow and joins you, and perhaps lets out a few cats out of the bag, you will treat him like the pet.
Rahul, please. Now you have your say. I will rebut your allegation. First and foremost, I think there is nobody who in their sane mind can accuse the Prime Minister and the BJP of harboring people who are corrupt or tainted. And let me tell you why. You might, think I'm grandstanding. I say this with responsibility on your channel as the national spokesperson, that today, be it the Sarda scam, be it the Narada scam, be it the Amphan cyclone scam, in all these, be it the court scam of 20,000 crore in which Abhishek Banerjee, Mamata Banerjee's nephews involved, be it Madan Mitra, be it Suvendu Chatterjee, be it Suvendu Adhikari, be it Mukul Roy, be it Srinjoy Bose, be it Sudipto Sen, be it Devjani Mukherjee. These are the people who are currently being investigated. And trust me, if the guilty are brought to book by the Enforcement Directorate and the court after a fair trial saying that these people are actually guilty of abetting a scam, be it Sarada, Narada, coal scam, Amphan cyclone, what have you. The BJP has no place for such scamsters.
No, but that's weird. So you're waiting for a conviction, is it?
Why is it that you do not give me time, Rahul?
No, I'm only asking you to clarify.
What are you asking me to clarify?
Are you only waiting for a conviction?
Let me come in. Let me finish. You have given ample time to the others. It's only fair to put my case forward. Then you can rebut me again. I did not say that we are only waiting for a conviction. But all I'm saying is let there be a fair trial. When Mamata Banerjee says let there be a fair trial of Partha Chatterjee, we say fine. That's a nice statement to make. But at the same time, we are saying that please do not ignore the 21 crore staff found in Archita Mukherjee's residence. And let me tell you what you have not told your, audience, that Partha Chatterjee yesterday actually intimidated the Enforcement Directorate.
Look.
And the fact of the matter is why you just keep talking
Sanju Verma, let me tell you that this channel broke a story.
This is.
No, 1 minute, Mr. Dev, 1 minute. No, 1 second. One second. Everyone, please silence. I've been asked to clarify something. Let me tell you, viewers, I am asking these questions of the TMC even now, even though there have been cases filed against me and one of my colleagues for doing our job. So I don't want to hear lectures from anyone, including BJP spokespersons or Mr. Dev, etc., etc. We do our job. We are not undeterred. We'll go to jail. No problems. But I won't stop asking the questions. Let me first point out what is being said, and this is important as I come out to. No, 1 second. I've not allowed anyone else to speak here. Tausif Ahmed, who is also now very much part of a political party. Sanjay Jha, author and leader of the Congress. Let me bring you in. Let me first go across to Tausif Ahmed. Tausif Ahmed, this is what the Calcutta High Court said. And I want to quote this. And this is what Firad Hakim says now. Kolkata High Court, May 18, 2022, about 2 months ago, said, from the contents of the orders reproduced above, it is prima facie clear that serious irregularities were noticed and recorded by the Honorable Single Judge Bench in the appointments to the 3 categories recommended by the SSC and executed by the West Bengal Board of Secondary Education. It was also prima facie noticed that the record by the Honorable Single Bench that at the root of the illegal recommendations were the activities of the 5-member so-called super committee appointed by the order of the School Education Department, dated 1st November 2019, approved by then Minister in charge under the advisorship of one SP Sinha. Several individual instances of illegal appointments issued on the recommendation of the said super committee have been detailed in the orders of the Honorable Single Bench, and such details could not be rebutted by the lead counsel appearing for the SSC and also for some of the appointed candidates. Now, Mr. Hakim said this, that he expressed his shame and disappointment over the charges. Mr. Tausif Ahmed, he's your senior leader. If he is ashamed by what the Kolkata High Court has found, if he is ashamed by the charges, why hasn't Partha Chatterjee been sacked till now? Simple question, Mr. Tausif Ahmed. Straightforward.
You see, the recovery of money, the mere recovery of money does not actually mean that this money was collected in lieu of the alleged recruitment scam. Because the scam happened in 2016 and thereafter the demonetization happened, and there would be lots of questions for which there would be no easy answer. Because after the demonetization and after for how long, for over 5-6 years
Ahmed, let's not dance around. I asked you a very simple question, and this question is, why is then Firad Hakim shamed and disappointed? Simple. You answer that question. Why is Firad Hakim feeling ashamed and disappointed? He's a TMC top leader. He's not an insignificant personality. Why is he ashamed and disappointed with Mr. Partha Chatterjee, who you will concede was the then Education Minister in 2019? Will you concede that?
And the party, so long the political question is concerned, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee herself has said that if the arrested minister is found guilty, action will be taken.
Sack him pending inquiry. Sack him pending inquiry. That's the question I'm asking you.
That's a prerogative of the Chief Minister, and nobody can dictate that to her. If you talk about collection...
So morality also cannot dictate to her. Can morality also not dictate to her?
Rahul,
conscience also not dictate to her? Is she above morality and conscience? Question straight to you. Since you invoked who could dictate to her. Should morality and conscience not dictate Tausif Ahmed to Mamata Banerjee, or is she above both? Simple question, Tausif Ahmed.
Not very long ago in Uttar Pradesh, about 284 crore rupees cash was recovered.
Right.
From Piyush Jain.
Did the TMC not demand the resignation of Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant in the absence of an FIR, merely on the basis of what ex-governor Satyapal Malik claimed. So why, sir,
Exactly.
are you not acting against Mr. Chatterjee using the same yardstick? You made that demand. He was not even booked. There was no FIR. It was only a claim by ex-governor Satyapal Malik, and you said the Chief Minister of Goa should go. He should be sacked. Why today, sir, when there is a High Court, when there is your own minister saying that he's disappointed, is Mamata Banerjee not listening to her conscience and sacking this individual? Simple, straightforward question, sir. Forget about what happens elsewhere.
No, how can we forget? You
Oh.
just said that we have never seen such a huge recovery of cash.
Okay.
And I'm reminding you that not very long ago, 10 times
I am saying
more
so,
than
sir.
10
So
times
two wrongs
higher,
make a right.
The cash was recovered.
So you
And
would
what
say
it
that that
turned
person
out
should
to
go?
be,
Should
it
you?
turned out to
Will you
be
tell me
same-
today,
same money
Mr.
laundering
Ahmed?
case,
Mr.
and
Ahmed,
taxes
should
were
that-
paid and he was let go.
should that individual
So does this
in Uttar
link
Pradesh-
it to the recruitment scam is to be ascertained by a proper investigation,
Sir,
for which the Chief
sir,
Minister has demanded
Sir, pending. Okay, Sanjay Jha.
fast track time.
Sanjay Jha,
bound
let me bring you in.
investigation.
Sanjay
What
Jha, let
wrong
me
has
bring
he
you in.
done?
Let me bring you in, Sanjay Jha. This is an important, straightforward question. Don't dodge, don't duck tonight. I'm asking you. In 2013, the TMC demanded the resignation of UPA Minister A.H. Khan Chaudhary for his alleged links to the Sarda Group. So why not ask Partha Chatterjee to step down now? Is that demand ultra-virus of conscience? Is it yes or no? If they could set the same yardstick for your government, you were part of the UPA, sir. The Congress was its lead player. Your minister, they said, should quit. He should be sacked. Should the TMC today be standing on some imagined propriety, I don't know, and not sack this gentleman? Simple, straightforward question to you.
Well, Rahul, let me be very upfront with you. I think your question is valid, and I completely agree with what Anand has said earlier on your show, and that will answer your question. One, and this is very clear, this is an old saying.
Thank you.
Is hamam mein sab nange hain. It is a fact. Nobody can deny that. Number two, he's absolutely right in terms of the institutional emasculation
No,
in
don't
India.
talk about
Look
Dr.
at the
Ranganathan.
EDs.
I've asked you a simple question. Sir, should the TMC, and let me ask you this again, maybe you did not hear my question because it's very important to get to the nub of the issue. We all know what Dr. Ranganathan said. He held forth for 3 minutes. He doesn't leave anyone
So give me 30
ambiguous
seconds.
about his message. So we've all heard. Now I want to ask
Give
you,
me 30
don't parrot him.
seconds, yeah.
Since we are talking about parrots, don't parrot him. He's taken off. He is flying high. I want to come to you, Sanjay Jha, straight question. Look, in 2013, the TMC demanded the resignation of a minister in your government, sir. His name is A.H. Khan Chaudhary,
I'm aware of that.
for alleged
I'm aware.
links to the Sarda Group. Now, that was a clear demand, yes?
Right.
Why were they
Absolutely.
making this demand? They were making this demand because the party stood for propriety. Obviously, isn't it, sir? Propriety in politics. Right? So today I want to ask you, Sanjay Jha, if they still want to believe in propriety, should they not ask their own man, who Firad Hakim, their own top minister, is embarrassed by? Should they not ask him to go? Simple
Yeah,
question.
so let me, Rahul, now just give me 30 seconds to respond to your question. Absolutely. I can't speak on behalf of TMC, but I will tell you this, that when Mr. Rajnath Singh was asked this question, that there are many allegations against BJP leaders, why don't you resign? You know what Rajnath Singh famously said? We are not UPA, our guys don't resign. So let me answer your question. I can't speak on behalf of TMC. Let Mr. Dev and Mr. Ahmed answer that. But today, Karnataka government is called a 30% cut government. You know why? Because of the allegations
that right?
emerged. And Mr. Ishwarappa had
So the
to
BJP
resign.
is a bad, corrupt
30%
party.
cut government.
Should the TMC also follow in their footsteps? It's a simple question. Maybe they should try to distinguish themselves. Maybe if they
Well, that's
present
what the
themselves as the
TMC
alternative, they will become...
You really hit the nail.
That is for the TMC to decide, and I will tell you this, the ED's
Sanjay,
conviction rate is 0.5%.
You see, viewers, this is where the problem is. Even people like Sanjay Jha, even people like Sanjay Jha, who serve the Congress party, who the TMC goes out of its way to constantly rebuke, snub, exclude from opposition meetings, will defend. The
I'm not
indefensible.
defending. Actually, that's
Why?
the TMC
Why? Because he has a larger problem with the BJP. Principles and ethics all out of the window. You see, I'm not defending,
really.
viewers, I'm not defending the BJP. It has a case to answer on many accounts.
Rahul, just 10 seconds.
May I please
But hypocrisy is the greatest enemy. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan wants to come in. I want to wrap it up on Dr. Ranganathan.
Please allow me to speak.
No.
Thank
1
you.
minute, Dr. Ranganathan. Yes. Dr. Ranganathan.
For 30 seconds.
Thank you.
I will let you all have 30 seconds. Give me some uninterrupted time with Dr. Ranganathan. He wants to make a point. Both of you can come out and make your points. Closing arguments with BJP and TMC. I'll leave. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rahul. We've been around 40 minutes into debate, and you've actually hit the nail on the head by saying that politics is about optics, and optics is of morality, ethics, and propriety. It is a moot point for anyone to say that any political party will immediately throw out a convicted politician, because as it is, according to the Supreme Court, a convicted politician is barred from fighting elections, so there's no point keeping him or her in the party. The issue is, will you keep a tainted politician? And here, every political party is to blame, and let me now give you just two examples. From 2008 to 2013, the BJP government in Karnataka actually said and arrested through an SIT a minister, Anand Singh, of 16 forest crime charges. 16. What happens? He was in Congress, he switched to BJP, and what has BJP made him now? Forest minister. Let me give you another example of Montserrat. He was in Goa Congress. He was accused, BJP accused him and demanded an arrest of Montserrat on child rape, burning the police station. What happened? He switched to BJP.
Hypocrisy abounds. Hypocrisy abounds. You know, when the Supreme Court, Dr. Ranganathan, asked Parliament to frame a law barring all these chaps who have criminal cases against them, they couldn't bring themselves to do it. It just tells you what the real problem is.
And I want to ask the BJP.
Yes.
Just 10 seconds, Rahul.
Yes.
I want to ask if it is not about conviction, but about taking in tainted. Jagdish Titler has also never been convicted.
That's true.
So will the BJP, if tomorrow
Sanju Verma, respond.
wants to join the BJP,
Respond.
will the BJP say, Jagdish Titler, come to BJP?
Respond. Yes, ma'am. Respond. Sanju Verma responding.
Yeah. Rahul, I just want to tell you, Rahul, when you ask the question, it's my duty to respond. And that's not giving you a lecture. Please, indulge the BJP at times, because you're very indulgent towards the TMC and the Congress for reasons, I am not aware of. Because the
Neither am I.
was about Partha.
Can you illuminate?
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing, Rahul, which I'm sad upset about. This debate, and I have every right to be. This debate is about Partha Chatterjee. Fine. As the opposition, you need to demand probity from BJP. And me being somebody who's educated, who's had a successful corporate thing, I want that politics should be about change in the real sense of the term. I'm not going to defend tainted ministers from either side of the fence. But what I don't understand, and I always say this on your debate, the most important thing is having a sense of proportion. And be it the Rose Valley scam of 40,000 crores, Sarga scam of 50,000 crores, Narada scam of 10,000 crores, Crore scam of 20,000 crores, we are talking of thousands of crores worth of scam under the Mamata Banerjee government. Name 5 scams. Under the BJP government, under PM Modi, I can assure you, you can't talk of even one. So Mr. Ranganathan does not have a sense of proportion. And as for Sanjay Jha, Sonia Gandhi out on bail, Rahul Gandhi out on bail, P. Chidambaram out on bail, Nalini Chidambaram out on bail,
Look,
Karti Chidambaram
I don't know
out
about Dr. Ranganathan's sense of proportion, but I do know that politicians have a sense of distortion. They distort and distort and distort. So, look, Mr. Dev, very quickly, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Why aren't you sacking? Why aren't you sacking this man?
Yes, please,
Sack Chatterjee. Sack him.
There is a long list. No. First of all, let us hear. Let us see how many allegations are there against BJP.
Okay.
You see, first of all,
because
I would
the
like to
BJP
mention
doesn't do it, we won't do it.
Scam.
Okay, fine. I got your answer.
Bank fraud amounting
I got your answer,
34,000 crore. Public distribution system scam. Former CM, Chhattisgarh, 36,000 crore. In Karnataka, police sub-inspector recruitment scam in which their leader was arrested, 25 lakh rupees per appointment. We have not forgotten.
Viewers, let me tell you, forget about the money here. Lower everyone's faders. Forget about the money here. Viewers, this is not really about money. This is about meritocracies. This is about merit. This is about robbing the youth of India that we want to build and invest in of a future. If you're going to rig appointments in the education system, what are you actually doing? You're destroying the foundation of India's future. What is really worse is that you're also taking money for it. It's actually double jeopardy. That is the sense of proportion. I don't care about the thousands of crores. The proportion here is derived from the fact that people are like termites, hollowing out a system that should be robust to build India's future. You are destroying India's future. That is a sense of proportion. Now you tell me, viewers, the response. Can the response be because the BJP doesn't do it, we won't do it? Or the BJP says, oh, because the TMC doesn't do it, we won't do it? Who is suffering? Your children. Your children. This country, this nation, in the next 10, 15 years, that has a demographic dividend which will get squandered if we don't invest in our youth. That's the sense of proportion. None of these politicians talk about that. And there's nothing like a debate on corruption, viewers, to point out how everybody, and they can call me. You see, the Congress will call me sold out, the TMC will say the same, the BJP will say the same. I love it. If I'm sold out in everyone's eyes, I must be doing something right. Viewers, the sense of proportion today is the future of our country that is being let down. Now, think about what we can do to pay them back that loss, which is unquantifiable. I'll leave it at that, viewers.